Greetings, scholars, and welcome to one of my writing classes. I'm Amanda Watts, and if I am the instructor of record for your class, then I have some explaining to do. We are going to be working in a labor-based grading system this semester. I've been developing the way that I teach writing for over a decade now in the labor-based writing grading system. And I would like to take a little bit of time to explain what that looks like for you, because it's probably going to be very different from what you're used to. I can tell you that most students will do very well in this class. This is a chance for anybody to succeed, no matter where they are coming in their writing level, in their writing confidence. But at the same time, I am also fully aware that this kind of class is not for everybody. So we're going to talk about who this class doesn't work for. And it's not a particular group of people, it's just a particular mindset. So I will kind of go through some of the give and take and differences in this class, and you can decide if you like what you hear. We can spend the next 8 or 16 weeks together doing great stuff. And if this all sounds like a horrible nightmare and you're not ready for it, we can talk and have a conversation about that and whether or not somebody else's section would work better for you. Which, I mean, no hard feelings, but just some real talk, because I think it's fair for you to know what you're getting into, especially if it's this different. So the two main things I'm going to cover here are what a labor-based grading system is, what it looks like, what that means for you as a student, and also the other sort of mysterious part of being a student in my class on why I don't give unsolicited feedback. So let's bust into this PowerPoint presentation of exactly one slide. I wanted this list to be here for you to sort of understand that this is what we're covering. And if you need to ask for more information or chat more about these, you can email me, office hours, all that stuff. I think the important part to take away is I am here for you. I'm always here for you, but I also am very much in the mind to let you work as independently as you would like. So you've got a lot of space and a lot of freedom. So don't forget that I'm here. So labor-based grading, what that means is you do the labor, as in the assignments each week. They each have point values attached to them. And if you did the thing and turned it in, you get all the points. So that is just logistically as simple as it is. So you are in control of how many points you get every week, which ends up with how many points you get in the year. In the end, that will mean that out of how many points were possible this semester versus how many pieces of labor that you engaged in, that'll be the percentage to calculate for what your letter grade ends up as at the end of the semester. Simple as that. No catches. Why I do that is because I value the process of writing and research and revision and reflection that I'm asking you to do this semester. As I'm teaching writing, I'm not just looking for a term paper at the end of the semester and then I tell you whether or not yours is good or bad in comparison to someone else's good or bad. I think that that would get you to write, but probably wouldn't teach you a whole bunch about how to write, what you're doing, and how to be able to apply skills and tools to other classes in your professional field and career later, elsewhere, past this. I call that grading system the transactional system, where I give you a grade, so you spend the entire semester trying to guess what I want. And then I give you feedback on what I want with suggestions and changes on drafts, and you implement everything that I asked you to do. You're pleasing me as the professor, and in the end, in the exchange, you get the grade you want. And then at the end of the transaction, that paper that you made is just a thing that you made that you think I like, and it no longer has any value to you at the end of the semester when it's over and you exchanged it for a grade, the end. If I want the work that you do in this class to be more valuable to you, to last way longer than this semester when it's over, and I want you to focus on the skills, I want you to try different research methods, try different genres to write in. That's what I'm asking you to do. But then how can I make my actions fit my words, that I do value the process more than what the end thing looks like? Because the end thing will be great if you engage in the process as I've laid it out for you. So in order to do that, I then had to take away grading that end thing, and telling you whether or not it's an A paper, B paper, C paper, because then I was just saying I believe in the process more than the product. So you are getting your grade based on how much you engage in the labor. You get the points if you did the thing on time. Beyond that, nothing else. This gives you ownership over your writing. I'm asking you to engage in this process. You can take risks. You can try new things. That taking risks and learning new things and trying stuff in a different way that you're not sure if it's going to work can lead to, ugly, awkward drafts and other things that you would be terrified of letting that happen, and frankly, don't have the time or resources to sacrifice if it was going to damage your grade, right? So I'm giving you this space to take these risks, to try new things on, to learn quickly and tons, because your grade is safe. Okay, so if something turns out to not work in the end, you still earned the grade for giving it the effort, engaging in the labor, reflecting on that thing and learning from it. So that is what it means to value the process, and that is how I am expressing to you that I value the process through a labor-based grading system. This gives you ownership over your texts because you are in charge of what you write about. I am guiding you through the process. That is kind of what the course structure is, are all of these little steps to build to that product. But rather than the product being the end goal, the product is just the thing that we got that represents all of that work that you did in researching and reflecting and peer discussions and revision. So it just kind of represents all of the skills and tools that you polished and learned to create that result. And I'm way more interested in the skills and tools than I am in the end thing. So that ownership means that you write about things that you find interesting. You write about things that will be valuable to you if you have already chosen a major, or maybe you're about to graduate and go into your professional field. Start writing towards that goal. Start writing things that doing this research will be valuable to you later. Writing a sample of work within a particular field or specialism could be a great writing sample for you for applications for jobs, internships, graduate school, scholarships, whatever it is. Make it meaningful and useful and valuable to you. That means that when we're done with this semester, that thing needs to be valuable to you. It needs to be something you're proud of, and it needs to be the best work that you can do. So you've got all of this ownership over that piece of writing. I am trying to give you tools for the professional field. I'm also trying to make these writing assignments samples that you can then use beyond here towards your professional goals. That means it needs to be good for you when it's over. And if you had to make a whole bunch of changes in that transaction model where it was just, I wanted XYZ and you don't agree with that, it takes away you truly believing that the thing you wrote is the best that you could do and being completely proud of it and having all the ownership. So that is leading into the next major topic, why I do not give unsolicited feedback. You are in charge of your writing. I have given all of that power and ownership to you. We will be doing professionalizing revision approaches on all of this kind of subtle ambient knowledge you can gain to improve your writing from reading other texts in that genre. So when you do a peer review, the first place that you're getting great information to revise your own work is just simply reading other people's work. You may see great structure, great sort of logic moves that people use that you can then implement in your own work. You will also be getting peer feedback, which I think another hesitation about peer review being useful is going, hey, a student doesn't know any more than the other student, so how is this useful? It's incredibly useful. It's a second set of eyes. And it keeps you in control of your text because somebody gives you suggestions. You can choose to accept them, reject them, modify them, get inspired to do something completely different because of them, but you aren't held to having to do something that another student suggested that you do. You're still in charge. You still have all the power. You're just like, thanks for your input. Here's what I'm going to do. Now think about if I, as the instructor of record, gave you that same feedback. Would you feel as free to reject it, to modify it, to not do what I said? You wouldn't, just because in this situation, there's no way that I'm not going to seem like I have more power than the student sitting next to you, which is why I can't give you just another kid giving you advice, suggestions. I would be taking away the ownership of your text with that action, like I promised that I wouldn't. So that is why I do not give unsolicited feedback. It would also kind of undo this work that I'm doing to try to get you to understand where you are getting great revision ideas from reading your other peers' work, from getting that feedback, from the other research you're doing, that you're getting also writing models from published scholarship in your interest, in your field, in your area. So you're starting to see what those look like, what they usually contain, what's the kind of insider language that they use. All of these sort of quiet ambient things that are always around you that can help you improve your writing would be wildly overshadowed and drowned out if I threw a list of suggestions at you, because that would then take priority over everything else that you could have learned from the rest of that environment that I've set up. So that's why I don't do that. However, that does not mean that I'm not here to help. So if, as we're also going to be learning how to ask for feedback, because you'll be asking for feedback from peers, you'll be asking for feedback from your professors, potentially your advisor for your senior capstone. So we're going to work on the fine art of asking for feedback and knowing what that means and knowing how to use it. You can always ask for feedback from me. So I'm always here. I just won't unsolicited throw suggestions at you and upset that balance of power that I'm working so hard to create in your favor. So if you need me because you're not sure if a certain area is working or you know something's wrong but you're out of ideas on how to fix it, you drop me a note when you upload that draft and I will always answer. I am always here for feedback when you need me. All you have to do is ask. Can you ask me for every draft you turn in? Absolutely. Can you ask me absolutely never in the entire semester? Absolutely. Your grade will never be affected by whether or not you're asking me for feedback. I'm just here to help you write the best work and improve your writing as much as you can in this time we have together. So you don't have to ask me for feedback. I hope that you are getting all kinds of great ideas and tools and skills and implementing stuff from everything else that you're doing. But if you're stuck and you need me, I am always here. So but I wish you gave me feedback. It is here. It is here for you. All you have to do is ask. So that is why I am very careful about the kind of feedback I give, because I want you to keep that ownership and that power. And I want you to learn how to use those tools of improving your writing from all of those other ambient sources that I've just talked about. But I am also here for you if you want that extra nod of suggestions, of solutions, or pointing out things, mirroring back to you what I'm seeing. All right, so all of that ownership is yours. All of that power is yours. You are writing the best things that you can possibly write, that you're proud of, that you can show off for other uses and purposes long after this class is over. Hopefully you will have as many tools and skills as you can possibly learn in the time we have together by the time you leave. That is my goal, not to just teach you how to write the 3 or 4 assignments that we write in our class, but to give you the tools to be able to write any genre of document in your field that you're ever asked to do and do it well the first time. So that also means all of the responsibility is on you. I'm professionalizing your revision approach with the way that we are looking at feedback and figuring stuff out. I'm also professionalizing your responsibility. So in a professional field, if you've been given a task, it's a bit weird if somebody has to check in on you a couple times a day to be like, are you doing your job we're paying you for? Nobody does that. You just either fail to do the job because you don't have your business together, or you manage your stuff. You know what you need to do. You know how long you have to do it, and you get it in on time. So we are going for that professional model, not the nagging mommy of a kindergartner model, which I am, and I'm not very good at it. The nagging part of the kindergartner thing, but I'm aware that that's temporary. So the responsibility is yours. It is a very different situation. So think about these 2 statements and how wildly different of a mindset about school they have to have. There is the one of, she gave me a C, and I turned everything in, I tried so hard, but she gave me a C. And you're like, oh, that's horrible. You poor thing. You are helpless in that situation. And that is often how it feels in one of those transactional models of classes. You do your best, you try your hardest, you turn everything in, and you can't seem to get better than a C, or better than a B, or better than a D. You're getting something and you're not in control. I have given you all of the ownership and all of the control. And in the labor-based model, you give yourself whatever grade. So you either engage in the labor, and every single person can just try to do the thing I asked them to do when I ask them to do it and get an A. Everybody can get all the points in this class from effort. You just engage in the labor, you get an A, period. If your time management gets to be a place where you don't get all the labor in each week, then you're making those choices and sort of doing the math and creating a situation where you're like, well, I guess I will do enough work to earn myself a B or a C, or I did half the work, which is half the point, that's an F, right? But I didn't give you an F. I am just the scorekeeper here with my chalkboard as you engage in the labor. I just keep track of how much labor you've engaged in, and in the end, we can both do the same math to come to the same conclusion. That's a really different mindset between I made choices and gave myself X grade versus she gave me a insert letter here. Are you ready for your own choices option? Because that's what this is. And the life gets in the way, but life gets in the way all the time in real life, in jobs, especially if this is an asynchronous course. Blackboard comes with you anywhere and everywhere. So I was homesick that day. Doesn't like time management. Cool. So I grade papers on the Blackboard app on my phone, which I have a little tiny phone. And I do that on airport Wi-Fi all over the world. So Blackboard can come with you if you're traveling, if you're just managing your time like this is a job. You've signed up for an 8 or 16-week contract for this job, and you're going to deliver, okay? Or you're going to choose not to, at which point you've made those choices and you have created whatever you have created. That is a lot of responsibility. So you've got all this freedom, all this ownership. You can do whatever is valuable to you for each of your projects. And you are also in charge of your grade. So it's great. It's freeing. Anybody can get an A+ in this class, no matter what you're coming in at. You are not needing to be comparatively great at anything that we do, because nobody's comparing you to anyone else. You're engaging in the labor and learning as much as you can in the space that you have, period. That is hugely different from the dynamic of most every other class. So I need you to ask yourself if you're ready for that. Finally, leads into signs that you're not ready for that are easy mode mindset, kind of realizing that you can scam this system of doing lazy half things that technically are sort of what I asked for, and get away with not doing anything and not learning in this class. Probably. And in that case, what a waste. Because on my end, when I get a piece of labor from you as one of the weekly assignments, I cannot know if this is you being lazy or if this was truly the best you could do with this thing at this time. So I will honor my promise that you get 100% of the points for that labor, because I'm not here to judge you on whether or not it is good or bad. I'm here to help you through the process. So if you want to just give me the minimum and actively not learn from the process, that is a loophole that is part of this system. But at the same time, you can't be salty at the end that you didn't learn anything, because it's on you. The ownership, the power, and the responsibility are on you. I am here to just give you as much information, as many tools as I possibly can in the time we have. And I treat you like professionals. You are managing your own time. Think about this like if you have a job and your job is going to send you to a conference. They buy you a plane ticket, they put you up in a hotel, they give you a ticket to the conference, and they don't check on you while you're there. I don't know anyone who is serious about their job who would go to a conference, fly into the city that they're in, and not take that opportunity to go see as many seminars, go to as many workshops, check out as many talks as they possibly could, learn what's new, learn what's happening, meet people, make connections. Like, it is such a great opportunity to do as much as you can to keep up with your interests. And that's what's expected at a conference. But nobody checks to see if you are sitting in your hotel room watching HBO instead of going to the conference. Because no one does that in a professional setting. So I am not going to check on you to see if you're sitting in the hotel room watching HBO. I'm going to assume that if you signed up for the conference and you are giving the time and the money and the dedication to the conference, aka this class, that you are doing it because you want to learn things, that you want to take what I am here to offer. So, as such, that is a loophole that I'm fully aware exists, but if you have the right mindset, not a problem. Plagiarism, academic honesty. Here's another situation that I feel like this class has gotten rid of any reason why you would ever turn in work that is not uniquely yours specifically for this class and try to pass it off as uniquely yours and specifically written for this class. So turning in a paper that has already been turned in for a grade in another class is self-plagiarism. That is academically dishonest. Copy and pasting text from a website or paying somebody to write your paper. Those are all academically dishonest, plagiarism. And there is no reason for it in this labor-based model. You have everything you need to succeed in this class. Your best right now will get you an A, because all you have to do is show up and do every step of the process, and wherever you are starting now is good enough. You can succeed with whatever you can do today. And that model means that there is no reason to find somebody who gets an A on a paper to write a paper for you, because you get an A with your labor. If you do something that is academically dishonest, you will fail this entire course, and I will turn you into the appropriate academic authorities who will then have to investigate you for whether or not you earned the degree that you're seeking. It's a big, scary bucket of terrible. And any of the temptations for why you would be stressed and under the gun to do that do not exist in this class model, because your labor is all I am asking. So you don't have to do anything that's comparatively good or excellent relative to someone else. You just do what you can do, and you have earned an A. So there's absolutely no reason for academic dishonesty. And it's a nightmare that don't do it. The end. That's that hard talk. All right. I'm going to wrap up with one other thing about this kind of writing class. Your voice is uniquely yours. The way that you write, the way that you communicate and express yourself comes from where you were born, where you grew up, who raised you, all of your life experiences. They make up your authentic voice, how you communicate. I'm not here to take that away. Academic style in this modern day and age no longer means talk like a robot with this one form of scholarly academic English. That's not a thing anymore. We write in first person because it seemed eventually stupid to everybody that if I am arguing something or I did this thing, that I can't say so with first person I when I'm writing a piece of scholarship. You can. Also, academic style means speaking in the lingo and communicating to other people who are specialists in that same specialism group in which you are a peer. So that does not mean writing just like someone else. You bring your own voice. And the way that we're going to work on your authentic academic voice this semester is reading texts from your specialism, communicating with other people. You are already excellent, nuanced communicators. You probably already speak in 5 to 10 different styles in your unique voice already. If you were to explain the same information to your mother, your best friend, and a group of second graders, you would take all of those nuanced cues on how to communicate with that particular audience in that particular situation, and you would adjust your tone, your style, your delivery to communicate as well as possible with each of those 3 different groups. That is nuanced communication, and it's all being done in your authentic style. I'm just trying to help you begin to develop your academic style, which is just you're communicating with other people who know a bunch of stuff about the same thing that you know a bunch of stuff about. You're joining that peerage as you start to work in your career, and your academic style in that field will grow and mature as you grow and mature as a scholar. We're going to start this semester by helping you communicate with that audience, but I absolutely believe in your right to your own language, to your own voice. I'm not here to knock the NODAC out of you, or if you're from somewhere else, welcome. But that voice is part of who you are. Some of that North Dakota dialect, some of that accent that we have, you can see it in the writing, and there is nothing wrong with that. So if you want to hear more about the sort of oath that teachers of writing can choose to take, which I very much support, it is called Students Write to Their Own Language. I have it listed there in the bottom bullet point. You can just Google Students Write to Their Own Language, and you will see the sort of oath as it stands. It was built in the 1970s. The language has been updated over the decades, and it's something I very much believe in, and that is built into this labor-based system, that you are writing in the interest group that you want, you are writing things that you are proud of, and you are doing it in your own authentic voice. Those are my hopes for this class. I think this probably sounds a little bit bonkers if this is the first time you've ever heard of labor-based grading. You can do great things. Most of my students' end of semester feedback starts with, this class was nothing like I expected, and then follows with really great things that they accomplished, that they learned, that they finally felt comfortable to try new things in writing. They really feel like they improved themselves, and now they're much more confident in their own classes in their major. They're much more confident about, maybe I can apply for a master's degree. I never thought I was a good student, but now I really feel like I have that power. You do too. You can learn amazing things in this class if you're ready to take ownership and responsibility of that learning journey. So if you're here to learn stuff, you will succeed. If all of that responsibility and ownership sounds like a terrible deal to you, then this class may be very frustrating, because there is not that structured guidance and I tell you what to do, you do it. I tell you what I'd rather you do, you fix it. You don't have that. So that safety net of just being told what to do and like checking the boxes as you go down the hall is gone. But the safety net to learn and grow, even when growing means like ugly, awkward draft stages, that safety net is very much here. So have a reflection, think really hard about whether or not this sounds like something you are ready to do. And if it is, welcome, and we are going to have a great semester together.